New York City, 2001, the epicenter of the global hip-hop universe, but the city was restless. For years, the throne of New York hip-hop had been contested, but by the turn of the millennium, it had become a two-man race. On one side, the gritty, poetic genius from the Queensbridge projects, Nas, the prophet of the street. On the other, the slick, calculated, chart-topping, mogul in the making from the Marcy projects of Brooklyn, Jay-Z, the master of the hustler's narrative. This wasn't just a rap beef, it was a clash of two very different American philosophies. It was Brooklyn versus Queens. It was street dream versus the hustler. It escalated from subtle whisper subliminals into the most high-stakes war of words the genre had ever witnessed. To understand the explosion of 2001, we have to look back to the mid-90s. In 1996, Nas was the untouchable god of New York hip-hop, fresh off the masterpiece Illmatic, widely considered one of the greatest albums of all time. Jay-Z was the ambitious newcomer, dropping his debut, Reasonable Doubt, that same year. The history books often point to a fateful meeting in 1996 at a New York City club. Jay-Z approached Nas, asking him to contribute to his debut album. But Nas, famously aloof and perhaps wary of the encroaching competition, didn't show up. That missed collaboration is where the initial friction ignited. Jay-Z, undeterred, sampled a line from Nas's The World Is Yours for his own track, Dead Presidents 2. It was intended as an homage, a nod from one hungry rapper to the king. Nas, however, took it as an infringement on his territory, an unauthorized appropriation of his art. The tension simmered for years, manifesting as subtle, subliminal disses. You heard it on Volume 2, Hard Knock Life. Fans started picking sides, debating who had the better flow, the deeper lyrics, and the better street credibility. The media fueled the fire. It was a Cold War that only needed one spark to turn into a scorching conflict. By the year 2000, the stage was set and the New York hip-hop community was bracing for impact. The Cold War officially ended at the Hot 97 Summer Jam in June 2001. Jay-Z took the stage and premiered a track produced by Kanye West called Takeover. It wasn't just a diss track, it was a methodical character assassination. Jay-Z systematically dismantled Nas's career, calling him a one-hot album every 10-year average rapper and questioning his street credibility. He pointedly referenced Nas's alleged affair with Tupac's girlfriend, Carmen Bryant, and generally painted Nas as a fading relic of the 90s. Then came September 11th, 2001. In a bizarre twist of fate, Jay-Z released his monumental album, The Blueprint, on that tragic day. While the nation was reeling, the album debuted at number 1. Takeover became the centerpiece, a thunderous assertion that Jay-Z was the new king of New York. The industry stood still. The consensus for a fleeting moment was absolute. Jay-Z had won. Nas was finished. Jay-Z had the charts, he had the culture, and he had the superior production. The crown was firmly on his head. But Nas was not a king to be dethroned so easily. On December 18th, 2001, Nas dropped Stillmatic. The response was a track that would change the trajectory of battle rap forever. Ether. The second the beat hit, the entire landscape shifted. Nas didn't just rap, he went to war. He mocked Jay-Z's physical appearance, called him Gay-Z, questioned his loyalty to his mentors like Biggie Smalls, and brutally exposed his insecurities. He famously mocked Jay's age, painting him as a desperate man clinging to a fading spotlight. Ether was visceral. It was ugly. It was a masterpiece of lyrical aggression. The impact was instantaneous. The public perception flipped overnight. Nas had taken a man who seemed untouchable and made him look vulnerable. It wasn't just a song, it was a cultural phenomenon. Everyone, from street corners in Queensbridge to corporate boardrooms in Manhattan, was debating who won. The word ether even became a verb in the hip-hop lexicon. To ether, someone meant to destroy them completely, to make them irrelevant. Nas had succeeded where everyone else had failed. He had humanized the icon, and in doing so, he had reclaimed his place on the throne. Jay-Z attempted a rebuttal with Super Ugly, a track so personal and toxic that it crossed lines that even Jay-Z's own mother, Gloria Carter, disapproved of. She forced Jay-Z to apologize for the line referencing Nas's daughter. It was an uncharacteristic moment of humility that forced Jay-Z to acknowledge that he had taken the feud too far. The radio poll on Hot 97, the heartbeat of New York rap, leaned heavily in Nas's favor. The battle had essentially reached a stalemate. Neither could truly destroy the other, and the fans were exhausted. The feud simmered down over the next few years, but the damage and the art remained as a testament to their rivalry. It wasn't until October 27, 2005 that the beef was officially laid to rest. During a Power 105.1 concert titled I Declare War, Jay-Z brought Nas out on stage. They performed together. They laughed. They hugged. The two kings of New York had declared peace, signaling the end of the greatest rap battle in history and ushering in an era of collaboration. Why does this battle still matter over 2 decades later? Because it set the gold standard for how hip-hop beef is conducted. It demanded technical prowess, public perception management, and absolute lyrical integrity. It proved that two men at the top of their game could push each other to create art that transcends the conflict itself. Jay-Z and Nas didn't just fight, they forced each other to become better versions of themselves. Without this feud, the blueprint for modern rap beef simply wouldn't exist. It remains the high watermark of lyrical combat. If you enjoyed this journey through the history of hip-hop, make sure to hit that like button to let us know. And don't forget to subscribe to Hip Hop History Vault. We're here to preserve the culture, one story at a time. Let me know in the comments, who do you think actually won Ether versus Takeover? I'll see you in the next one.